born in UP, brought up in Rajasthan. I have lived across the country. I've worked in 2 continents. Very much middle class upbringing, and parents are from UP. My mom is from Mirzapur. My dad is from Banaras. They have also sort of carved out their life over the last 50, 60 years. My dad worked in a public sector, chemicals, manufacturing piece, and he was in Udaipur for a period of 25 years, and then very slowly built out his life. And very, very normal upbringing. UP parents have a way to make sure they have they set you right in terms of first education and then setting your behaviors right. So I remember my mom used to teach me until I was 5th standard, and she would make question papers for me, and really invested in the education piece. And I think those formation years is why I was able to eventually make it out or something. I have been a silent introvert kid since my childhood, and some part of it is still the same as I was a kid, and pretty much don't do too many public engagements because it is more stressful for me to be in public setups. But always really studious, I think, back in school as well. So I was a nerd up until college. I think my first job has been really helpful. I was an associate in that firm. It was a very boutique niche firm which was solving pharma sales and marketing problems. And we were analysts. Our job was to essentially start writing SAS codes to summarize data, to clean up data, make a lot of Excel models, and try to create from raw data insights and presentations for clients. Consulting jobs have become less relevant, and it's more suited for folks who are lazy to find solutions to their own problems. Consultants really help you create frameworks to think about a problem, right? You give them solutions which they present to you in a different format, in a more structured format, and you feel like, oh, this is like a revelatory aha moment for you. So I kept shuttling back from US to India as part of my first job, and the idea was spend time with the client there, come back after 3 months, spend some time in India, and then go back to the US. And 3 years of doing this, in one of my trips, I was sitting with a client, and I saw the same report that I had presented about a year back, and that was catching dust, and it was a flick away to the dustbin. And I realized that what is really happening? Are we just getting fees paid by just presenting new stuff every time? What is really happening to this, the stuff that we present actually? That was the first trigger. I got together with my friends and said that let's do something which can help apply the skills we know into a place or in a sector where there is a lot of impact to be created. All of us knew analytics and numbers, and we had gone through the same education system that all of us have gone through, and we realized that folks were still sticking to those same maths mein you got 95 out of 100, science you got 80 out of 100, and that's the yardstick people are using to judge how good you are at any given subject. We realized that that's not the best way, right? At least the first step was start measuring skills instead of just this, full or just a score on 100, right? So we said that let's take K-12. So K-12 means kindergarten to 12th standard. and we said that we'll take the first 4-5 standards and see what fundamental skills are getting built there. And we also took the 6th to 10th graders and really thought about what skills are being taught over there. And we started to break this down. So for example, for a 4th grader, we would try to assess from an assessment if they know subtraction, what's their score on subtraction, what's their score on addition, what's their score on multiplication, and so on, right? So we had about 2,000 students who would come every exam touch point. Eventually on the doubt solving bit, the numbers were upwards of 50,000, 60,000 students would come in a month. On a daily basis, you would say that came down to, let's say, 5-10% of this number. We raised money from IIIT Hyderabad and some accelerators during this period, but not like a big funding round. This was all getting some small checks in to, just keep the lights on and keep this going. In order to break into roles which are closer to revenue, you need to understand design of a certain business. So this famous thing I keep telling people, when you're going into a job, think like a VC or an investor. And when you're in a job, think like an operator or a founder. So when you're thinking like a VC or an investor, think about which sectors are essentially doing well. And within those sectors, which companies are actually creating large impact. And the third piece is, how does that business run? What is the business? And if you think about examples from my career, in every company, there is a core. The core, if you strip out everything, there is a core of that business. In fashion, for example, design is a core, or distribution is a core, which is sending goods to the right place and making it available and ensuring that you're displaying it correctly in a retail setup, or telling the story about it online. These are distribution side of things. The supply side of things is, or design side of things is, how are you thinking about what's the next great design of a jacket that's going to work. There is this thing, right? Delulu is the Salulu, something of that sort. But I think most people are Delulu about the fact that they will apply this solution and everything will get solved. It doesn't happen like that. It takes consistent execution. If you have to bring a change, it's a change management project. And usually days, months, sometimes years of execution to be able to come to that point. You have to be okay with feedback loops being longer. That I've thought of the solution, but your solution and the problem will both evolve over time. You have to be okay with it from day one. The problem that you've identified, the solution that you've identified will both change over time. So I think this is the most important thing that people don't realize. They think that point in time, whatever is right today or whatever is the truth today will continue to be in the future. That is not true at all. It will keep changing.